Hi, good evening, OCPS families. My name is Lauren George. I'm from the Family and Community Engagement team. I'm so glad to be here with you guys this evening, and I cannot wait to introduce two amazing women from the ESC department who have a lot of wonderful things to share with you. So, without further ado, if you have any questions, please pop them in the chat. And if you need anything from us, please feel free to reach out. Ladies, I'll let you take it away.
Thank you so much, Lauren. We're so excited about doing this particular training, Unstoppable Learning at Home. Although I kind of feel like many of our parents are probably thinking, I don't want to go back home. We just had our kids at home for the last week. However, we hope that this can be things that you can use in the future if they do end up having to come home. And hopefully they do come home every afternoon, right? And what are we doing with our students when that happens? So welcome to Unstoppable Learning at Home. And this is with using access points. And we are from the Behavior Instructional Support for Significant Disabilities team at Orange County Public Schools. When it comes to supporting instructional learning on access points, we are that unstoppable team. My name is Jenna Horton, and I am an instructional resource teacher for the district, and along with me is the amazing and unstoppable Nicole Como. So get ready for an exciting session of Unstoppable Learning at Home, and we are ready to go.
You mean like turning every household chore into a science experiment? Will it clean if I don't? Imagine if we could just sprinkle some self-cleaning dust and watch the magic happen.
You're so funny, Nicole, but that is a great question. What is unstoppable learning at home? What does it look like? Is it a superpower? Because we all have some sort of unstoppable superpower.
So what's your superpower?
What is it that you can't turn off, Nicole, even if you wanted to?
I have an unstoppable learning power knack for finding the one squeaky floorboard in any room. Shocking, right? Jen, I can even find that in our office, right?
I
See,
know,
now
that's so
actually my
true.
superpower is finding broken ACs, right? It's like my feet have radar for it.
It's so true. I think we need to see the pictures of that we have of our beautiful selves, unstoppable selves on our PowerPoint so that we can make sure that people can see us as even though they're seeing us on our camera.
I gotta move along. I can't just be talking, right?
No,
I gotta
don't
get back
forget, we're
into the
unstoppable. But something has stopped us. So what makes learning unstoppable? So on the next slide, you'll see that there's this wonderful unstoppable child, maybe similar to your children. So what is something that might be an unstoppable power that you have, something that you can't turn off even if you wanted to? This is a chance for you to pop that into the chat. The way that you access the chat is by going down to the bottom of your screen. And then you'll see to the far right a little circle that looks almost like a talking bubble. If you'll select that, that should open up your chat.
let's see if
Everyone got
anybody's
that?
popped anybody in there.
Yeah.
It's an unstoppable learning hack. Oh, similar to like a homework whisperer. Do we have any parents out there that know just by looking at their child's backpack, there's some unfinished homework sitting in there, yet their child has said, I finished it on the bus. I finished it at school. I finished it at extended day.
That
But
sounds
yet
like
you
X-ray
know.
vision. That's a superpower, isn't it? And that's what I know a lot of our parents have. What else do we have that might be an unstoppable power, Nicole?
Hmm. What about the sleep deprivation defier? You function perfectly on minimal sleep. Who has that superpower, right? Much to the amazement of everyone around you. You can grade papers as a teacher, right? Pack lunches, solve sibling disputes on 3 hours of sleep alone. What do you need though? A little bit of coffee. It's called your
Absolutely.
sidekick.
I love this one that's in the chat as well, the snack ninja. You can produce snacks out of thin air anytime, anywhere. You know, I once pulled a granola bar out of my pocket during a field trip, and I had no idea how it even got there. My students thought I was a magician. It is just so amazing. Unstoppable powers that parents may have. So let's go in. We'll talk a little bit about what we are going to share with you today about this unstoppable learning. So we have our unstoppable mode activated. And for this session, we want to start with information about access points. What in the heck are they? How you might incorporate math access points at home, and how you could incorporate reading activities at home. And then finally, we will be providing you through some links, a last resource about how to continue to be unstoppable. So as we move through this session, we have placed, along with these resources, some random unstoppable fun ideas, hopefully just to get a little bit of a laugh out of you. And again, just to give you the suggestions, things that you might try at home. And sometimes you might even think of a way that you might um, up the ante for your students, for your children. So, here we go. Ha ha
There
ha.
goes
Here's
one.
one already while walking around the house. Have you ever tried this? Count your steps out loud in a funny voice, or skip count by twos, fives, and the bonus points you get for dancing, while you're counting. Anything else we could do to up the ante or increase
I just
that
want you to
rigor,
know,
Nicole?
Jenna's been practicing that at work recently. But yeah, so
The
let's up
funny
the
voice
rigor.
or the counting?
The counting, dancing backwards, and the funny voice all at one time, right?
Right.
But what if your child needs a little more rigor, something more challenging? You could encourage them to skip count backwards, which requires more focus and mental calculation, right?
Yeah, it absolutely does.
Plus,
It
I'd have
absolutely
to,
does.
mentally see if they're correct.
That's right. Yes, it will also keep you as a parent on your toes as well. So these unstoppable fun ideas you might see as we travel through this session.
So be
So I
ready to
know,
think of something, right?
yeah, I know our parents have tons of other ideas that they already are doing. Didn't realize that it was academically based. So one thing that we need to look at are what is an access point. So access points are Florida's alternate achievement standards that reflect the essence or core content of the standards and align to grade level standards. So having that basic understanding is really important for our students and for you as a parent. By using access points, they are provided opportunities for our students with the most significant cognitive disabilities to have access to the general education curriculum through some modifications. In Florida, those modifications are changes in what a student is expected to learn and may include changes to content, requirements, and expected level of mastery. So access points are setting neutral, which allows the instruction of those access points to occur in the least restrictive environment and then reinforced at home.
So this is an umbrella that gives a visual of how the Florida standards are overarching framework for the NGSS and BEST standards. Access points for social studies, math, English language arts are aligned directly to those BEST standards, where access points for science, art, and PE are part of the NGSS, or the what used to be called the oh gosh, just slipped my mind. Next generation United States standards. There we go.
Yes.
Which we use, for a few access points and see how they're viewed on different levels of instruction.
Absolutely.
I see another one.
Oh no, everybody laugh. This is where you have to read that part yourselves. The ha 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 ha.
I feel like Jimmy Fallon should pop up. That's what we should have pop up, right? How cute would that be? The laughing
Absolutely.
meter.
So, and these unstoppable fun ideas are just unstoppable, aren't they? This fun idea suggests that as you practice spelling words, each person, get this, must perform a dance move or strike a pose for each letter. How would we increase that difficulty, Nicole?
Maybe have your child spell as many words as possible within a minute.
Holy cow, you definitely would be on your toes learning how to spell that way. Parents as well. All right, so
That
back to
timer.
those access points. Here are access points that we will see some videos and we'll be using them in our videos. So on this slide, you see there are 3 questions, the left-hand side. Those 3 questions are: what do students need to know? What do students need to be able to do? And then what will students be doing and saying when they are proficient with this standard? So teachers in the general education classrooms, when they meet together, they talk about the standards that they will be teaching the grade level students that they're working with. But they do this by together as a team answering these questions before they begin planning that instruction, planning that activity that they're going to do with their students. So we want to give you this kind of background so that you will understand, or some of you I'm sure are very proficient in understanding standards and access points. Some of you might be new to this, and so we want to make sure that everyone does see how teachers plan for instruction based on those standards or those access points. Because remember, the access points really are the same essence and content of those standards, but at a reduced complexity level. So we have provided on this slide 2 math access points and 2 reading access points. So the math access points that you see are explore the relationship between perimeter and area using rectangles with the same perimeter and different areas, or with the same area and different perimeters. You can tell it's a math access point or a math standard because of the MA that is at the beginning of what we have as codes for each of the standards. The second math access points is a 7th grade access point. Solve mathematical problems using no more than 4 operations with rational numbers and including grouping symbols, whole number exponents, and absolute value. The bottom 2 are English language arts or reading access points. And again, they are noted with ELA at the beginning of their code. The first one is a 5th grade access point. Read grade level text at the student's ability level with accuracy and expression using the student's mode of communication. And then finally, a 10th grade ELA access point is describe the impact of multiple text structures. So we'll be looking at a couple of these as we do view some videos in the remainder of this session.
We will be referencing back, and I'm sure periodically you saw if I hover over some of these, which all of our parents will have access to, you'll see some essential understandings. Those are just some scaffolding ideas for teachers that are built into the standards themselves. So we wanted to include those for future reference.
I'm glad you brought that up too, Nicole, because this particular session or this PowerPoint that we're providing for you today is what is called as a genially, and it is a little more interactive. So there are different places throughout the presentation where you might hover over it or click things and it gives you more information. We are providing a link to this genially in the chat during this session, so you'll be able to copy it and save it. And then be able to come back and review the information that is on the Genial or share it with your favorite friends and family so that they would also have an opportunity to learn about unstoppable learning at home using access points. So going back again to that math access point, explore the relationship between perimeter and area using rectangles with the same perimeter and different areas, or with the same area and different perimeters, and using those, again, those same questions that all teachers use as they plan instruction. So what does a student need to know in that one?
Oops.
Oh, that's
Went
okay.
too fast, Jenna.
Yeah, you're unstoppable. What does a student need to know? And so when we kind of hover over the terms perimeter, area, and rectangles, we see that the students need to be able to know what those particular terms mean, and the teacher would make sure that she taught those particular terms initially. What will the student need to be able to do with those terms? So if you hover over the word explore, you'll see that's what the access point is saying. They're going to have to explore, and that can be used in many different ways. Then finally, what will the students be doing and saying as they explore the areas and perimeters of rectangles? So sometimes we read these access points and these standards, and they are a lot of words, and you're trying to determine what exactly is it that the student needs to be able to do and say. And so that's why we pick out words, we pick out terms, to relate to that particular access point and really hone in on exactly what it is they need to do. So in this example, you can see the top two rectangles have the same perimeter, but a different area, and the bottom rectangle has the same area, but a different perimeter. The bottom rectangles both have an area of 49 square units, but the perimeters are different. One has um, oh, different. Okay, then this is just an example of how teachers plan for instruction for students. As parents and caregivers, how can we support the teaching and learning of the access points? And one way is to embed that instruction in the students' day-to-day routine. So you see, just using perimeter and area, you can start thinking of a variety of things that a student might be able to do at home when you're thinking about this particular access point. As you can see, the people in this particular picture, they're installing a window or a door, and that's the important part about a perimeter and an area. Possibly even within a student's own bedroom, they start determining where their bed could fit or where their dresser might fit. Or
I think they might
community
be
help.
measuring for curtains.
Oh, it could be measuring for curtains as well. That's right.
You
Or
never know.
painting. That's so
It
true.
could-
So true.
What do I see here?
Up, ha! And we need a laugh track.
Where is? I told you it's a.
Unstoppable fun idea. Here that comes again. They're just unstoppable. Before a folding laundry, everybody's favorite thing.
My
Everyone
favorite, right? I
estimate.
couldn't wait till I got home today to fold some laundry. I was hoping there'd be laundry to fold.
So everyone in your house has to estimate how many socks there are in the basket. And before folding laundry, everyone has to estimate how many socks there are in that basket. So sometimes, those socks get lost where?
Where
In
could
the
they be?
dryer. It gets eaten in the dryer, and so you come up with some uneven socks. So when you're thinking about laundry, there's so many different things that you could do academically, as well as making sure that your students are learning to do that. It's such a great daily living skill.
What's happening next?
So select the gear. Oh, so if you select these gears, they're going to reveal some pictures, Nicole. How can we help your child and their teacher achieve goals through everyday routines and activities? By using teaching strategies and teaming with your child's teacher, we can create real life opportunities to practice their skills at home or in the community. And this is what's really called embedded instruction. And embedded instruction involves providing individualized and explicit instruction during natural opportunities in the child's environment. So let's take a look at how teachers and families together would embed instruction during natural opportunities in the child's instruction.
And I am going to hover
First,
over those gears just because real quick,
yes.
check it. Look at this little guy.
Oh, that
What's this little
abacus.
abacus doing?
Yeah.
You can count on me, right? All day long. I know.
Oh,
Lauren, thank you for, right? You got to sometimes get real close,
zooming in. I
zooming
love that
in.
it says, you can count on me. Ha ha ha.
And then reading makes life easier, right? What's he
Yeah.
doing there? Jen and I talked about this one a lot because I don't know, maybe just opening his eyes, we could start there. Maybe he does read.
Yes, he does read. And I don't know how many times, myself included, all of us push when it says pull, or pull when it says push, because we didn't take the time to read the directions. So when we're embedding instruction, though, we need to identify a specific skill that we might reinforce at home, and then we're going to identify those natural opportunities. So again, just something as simple as looking at doors that have lots of verbiage, text on it, and being able to read that. So for students, though, with significant cognitive disabilities, these skills might include things like just preparing meals, doing household chores, sending emails or text to friends these days, or even watching TV. The instruction is always embedded where the learning is naturally integrated into those daily routines. And this gives students real life opportunities to practice their individual goals, and similar to the unstoppable fun ideas we have been sharing during this session. With some creativity and teamwork, those academic goals in subjects like math and reading can be practiced in everyday situations beyond just using worksheets or educational apps. To make this work, though, it's important for teachers and parents to communicate openly about what's working and what needs to still be adjusted. And in this way, you can ensure that your child is getting the most out of their learning experience. And it doesn't really even seem like homework, right? So in this example, during cooking, you would use fractions for measuring ingredients. And while cleaning, help your child practice reading those instructions on the cleaning products. And then if you are ordering pizza, which everybody, I think, in all of America does at some time in their life, allow your child to help calculate maybe even the tip. And then playing board games. I know that's so undigital, right? But playing board games provides an excellent opportunity to read those rules, count spaces, identify numbers, and the list just goes on and on once you begin to think about how everything can be an opportunity to practice academics. It can almost become a curse,
Right.
but
I
fun,
think even
right?
about just waiting your turn,
Yes,
right?
it's,
Patience. Make it wait a little bit longer. We always talk about that, right? Wait time.
yes.
1,000, 1,000. Click.
Yeah, because sometimes you also have to wait for them to give an answer. Let them process that answer, not be so quick to tie their shoes. Another one. The
Hide
fun
sticky
never
notes.
stops.
It never does. There's learning everywhere all the time, I must
Yes,
say, right? I even when I was in the classroom, thought, up, these students got to learn these letters. I'm just going to post them different places in the school and hope nobody removes them. And my
yes,
students see them first, right? Hide sticky notes with letters or numbers on them around the house. The goal
yes.
is to find them all and use them to spell a word or create a math equation. Could you imagine?
I know. The kids, students and kids, children, everyone loves a good scavenger hunt, I feel like. I know my children at home, they made, in a sense, the mistake of doing a scavenger hunt, and then they wanted one again and again and again and again and again. But it is just a great way to provide that opportunity to learn some academics. And that scavenger hunt part is just way too much fun.
Makes it unstoppable.
Hmm.
All right, I think we're ready for our first video.
That's true. So now we're going to go back to those math access points we talked about.
Mhm.
This is a video that's showing how to help your child with math or at home. And it's provided by the TIES Center, TIES Center. And we will be sharing the link in the resources at the end of this session. But as you watch this video, look for the natural opportunities that are being embedded using one of these access points and place them in the chat. So when we're talking about those access points, again, the one, explore the relationship between perimeter and area using rectangles. And then the other one, solve mathematical problems using no more than 4 operations with rational numbers, including grouping symbols, whole number exponents, and absolute value. It's a tough job, but I know you can do it, so go ahead. So I'm hoping everyone can hear this video. Can you hear it, Lauren?
I don't hear anything at the moment. No, ma'am.
No?
No, we are not hearing it. Wonder what happened there. So,
Can you hear it now?
no. Mm.
Checking to make sure everything is turned on. It looks like it on my end. And you know
So,
what, ladies, if push comes to shove, we could always share this link in the chat box as well.
yes.
We didn't set up this link, so
So I
work.
wondered if there was something in the setup where
No
before
worries.
you share your screen, you have to share the audio.
Oh, Lauren,
So,
are you able to play it?
Let's see here. I don't know if I have the ability to take over.
well, I was going to ask you, Nicole, to stop sharing your screen,
Mm-hmm.
and there should be a place where it tells you to add audio, turn on your audio. I don't know if you remember that. I see you're still sharing your screen.
Oh, stop sharing. Yep.
And then I don't know if up in the right-hand side, if it gives you options about sharing your screen and making sure your audio is turned on, either there or at the bottom.
Share screen. I see it. The play.
No. The other option was if I try and share my screen and see if I can find it. But I don't know if I can do that, can I? Share screen. File whiteboard here.
It worked just yesterday. No problems. I was looking to see if it asked me again. I have mute.
Oh, shucks. Yeah, I thought there was something. Where is that thing? Share computer audio. Do you see that? When you do share content, and you'll see across the top of it, it says screen or application file, whiteboard camera. Then below that, it's automatically optimized, share computer audio. Do you see that? Do you hear me?
Oh, we can't hear you though. Uh-oh.
Up there it goes.
Oh, there it goes.
Yeah, there it goes. It wouldn't let me click it. Now it is.
Okay.
Nope, we'll
So
have
now go back to sharing your screen, and you selected that one.
Yep.
Okay. Sorry.
And while we're getting
everyone that's here, I appreciate your patience.
Yeah. And while we're waiting for those of you that are in the that have joined us since we've started, welcome. Mallory shared while you were sharing some of those ideas and tips, said this is so fun, and I agree with her wholeheartedly. Like, I'm already getting ideas for my 2-year-old at home, so I love the things you're sharing. Can't wait to hear what you're getting ready to share with us.
And I don't know if my children were growing up as well, and I would go to a training and come back, and I'd start having them do different things. They were like, "Oh, did you go to another training, Mother?"
So I do want to confirm, Jenna, which screen am I sharing? Does it show all of us on camera, or does it
I see everybody on camera, but I do see your tabs.
Yep, but I'll switch to the other thing.
Yes, that's true.
Fix to this one.
So once again, while you're watching this particular video, you want to ensure that you're thinking about those access points. Oh, great, I see it. Perfect.
Now let's see if we hear it.
Oh, and I hear it.
Parents need to have an understanding of how to create a home environment that promotes mathematics that will boost engagement and build math knowledge and skill. In this video, we'll discuss 3 key points to consider in order to help your child with math while at home. Why is it important that my child engages in math at home? How can I help with math while my child is at home? What support can I ask for from my child's school? Why is it important that my child engages in math at home? Math instruction in school helps students gain skills and confidence to make sense of the world around them. Children see their parents creating budgets, purchasing items, measuring rooms in their house, estimating time, and buying things at a store. Running a household, saving up for a vacation, updating a home, and getting dinner on the table in time are just a few examples of many activities that require math skill and knowledge. Research shows that students with significant cognitive disabilities can make progress in their grade-level mathematics curriculum. How can I help with math while my child is at home? By involving your child in your own opportunities to use math at home, you could help them to grow in their ability to apply their math skills to everyday activities, something that is often difficult to do at school. For example, if you were making a meal plan and grocery list, you might involve your child to help you figure out how many legs of chicken you will need to buy if you want enough for everyone to have 2. This simple task involves mathematical thinking to solve a word problem involving multiplication, and your child might find a solution through drawing it, acting it out with counters, or by using an equation and calculator. On another day, you might need to establish how much chicken wire you need to keep rabbits out of your backyard vegetable garden. Your child could help by calculating the perimeter of the garden bed and the corresponding amount of chicken wire. This could be done by drawing a diagram, such as a 4 by 8 foot rectangle, and using a calculator, or simply putting all the side measurements into an equation. 4 feet plus 8 feet plus 4 feet plus 8 feet equals 24 feet. If your child is helping with laundry, your child could learn more about fractions and ratios. For example, measuring and only pouring a half cup of laundry detergent into the washer for a medium-sized load, or a cup of detergent for a large load. What you are teaching your child is that math is used everywhere. What support can I ask for from my child's school? For additional resources about how to support emerging math skills at home, contact your child's teacher or instructional team. Ask about the approaches being used at school. Ask for ideas of how you and other family members can support emerging math skills while your child is at home. If your child's IEP does not have math goals, or you want additional information, you may want to explore resources that are available online. For example, the Modules Addressing Special Education and Teacher Education, or MAST, website has several modules focused on teaching mathematics, such as Math Instruction for students with significant intellectual disabilities, and Teaching Mathematics to Students with Deafblindness and Intellectual Disabilities.
Love this little video. Love this Thai Center. They're all about providing information and resources for parents as well as for teachers. And again, I hope you will take some time to be able to access that link. So Nicole, what did we see in this particular video?
Actually, I think Lawrence, did some people drop some information down in the chat what they saw?
Yes, I had a really clever idea in terms of being at the grocery store and using things like chicken, when you're planning out your meals and getting the kids involved. And somebody mentioned having them figure out, how many pieces of chicken are going to need if each person has 2 in the family, and then you're doing adding or multiplication. And I love this idea of how a grocery store, we go weekly, right? And what an easy way to incorporate doing fun math activities and practicing math facts and skills while you're there. So I'm loving it. We're all loving it. So
I'm loving those things, and the parents picked up on. One of my favorites, of course, was that laundry example, right? So not only are we getting the laundry done, but that measurement, just thinking about, how much math is involved with, who knew, fractions and measurement, ratios, for example. Just using that academic language at home, that's also being used at school. It helps both the parents, the students, and the teachers. So,
Absolutely.
Need lots of
nice.
repetition. Lots of repetition about those
It's
particular
all about
things.
generalizing. Oh,
Yeah.
I heard the word ratio at home and at school now.
Yeah,
I love to do laundry.
Right. And the yard, working in the yard too.
Yes, right now that's a big one, right? How many piles of yard waste could we put out?
We
day.
just had a huge opportunity. We don't want to miss it. So now it's time for you. Also, if you still have a chance, you can put some things into the chat of other ideas that maybe you're already doing as far as math is concerned at home. And go ahead and post some of those in the chat. Give you 1 minute to do that. Not everybody at once, but be unstoppable.
It's almost like sharing ideas, right? I'm
Yes, it
thinking
is.
right now, my family is how quickly can we close the door to not let all the AC out?
Yeah.
How quickly can you get out and shut the door? You have 10 seconds. Who can do it in 9?
Yes, yes. So true. And of course, always watching TV, if you watch any sports and things like that, that's a great opportunity to do some math activities when they're talking about how far they've run the ball or thrown the ball and how much further they need to go to get if they have 10 yards to get a first down, they've gotten 3 yards. Now, how many more yards do they need to get? We're all about ESPN at our house.
So I see Mallory's just killing it. She mentioned in the chat, she said maybe drawing a diagram of a fence to figure out area and perimeter.
Ah,
Also including your child when you're cooking and baking, like you guys were showing earlier.
yeah.
And that can allow them to work with fractions. And she says she loves the idea to communicate with our children's teacher to know
Yeah.
what skill they're currently focusing on so they can emphasize it at home and practice at home. And I think that is so key, reaching out to your school because they want so badly for, us to support our kids at home further. So great
Yes.
points, Mallory. And thank you for sharing.
Absolutely. We have so many opportunities already where they're doing worksheets and those kinds of things, but to be able to apply it into some real life situations, how much more reinforcing that's going to be, whatever that skill is that they were practicing at school, and then now to be able to come home and apply it there with starting out with the support of parents or caregivers, sisters and brothers as well. Oh goodness, look at that. What, another one?
Another one.
While
Ah.
writing the grocery list. We talk a lot about shopping because we're always doing it, right? Try to think of one item for each letter of the alphabet. That's a long shopping list. Apples, bananas, cereal, and so on. All right, grocery gurus, it's time for the alphabet adventure. Can we conquer the aisles from A to Z? Apples, bananas, cereals. Let's see if we can find something for every letter. And bonus points if you can come up with something for X and Z. I don't know if I see anything. And however, now that we have more multicultural foods, I think we can come up with some different
You're going to
types
go
of
down the international
foods.
aisle. You have to do
Yes,
the aisles, but I bet you could definitely.
lots of different things
I
now.
cannot even think of one. That would have
What
been a great one.
What's the
Something.
most unusual item you think you would add to that list? That would be quite the challenge because the other piece is buying it and then bringing it home and eating it. So a
And
lot
I
of
will
times
have to
kids,
say one good letter in Scrabble was always Q, right? Quinoa.
ah,
Now it's quinoa,
yes,
which took me a little bit, but is it
yeah.
but a
I think
Z
they'll
or an
still stay stuck
X?
on chicken nuggets though. I have a feeling in French fries. I got F.
But it's not going to get enough letters. I mean, enough points.
All right. So now let's take a look at how reading could be embedded at home. So here's another video again from that Thai Center. And again, we want you to watch this video and focus in on those natural opportunities that are being embedded using one of these access points, those ELA access points we talked about earlier, reading grade level text at the student's ability level with accuracy and expression and using the student's mode of communication. And then the other one, at the 10th grade level, you would describe the impact of multiple text
There's 10th
structures.
grade access points, don't forget.
Yes,
Right
that's right,
along with
grade
that,
level.
that assessment.
That's right, grade level. All right, go.
In this video, we'll discuss 3 key points to consider in order to help your child with reading at home. Why is it important that my child engages in reading at home? How can I help with reading while my child is at home? What support can I ask for from my child's school? Why is it important that my child engages in reading at home? Children with significant cognitive disabilities who are beginning readers in English generally know about books and other reading materials like object calendars or schedules, can identify letters of the English alphabet, and know the sounds of letters. They may be able to read some words and understand their meaning as they sign or sound them out. Encouraging these beginning English reading skills while your child is at home can support the reading instruction that occurs at school. Improving your child's English reading skills will support access to the general education curriculum, improve outcomes throughout the school years, and continue to be important as your child moves into a job or future training. If your child develops reading skills in another language first, those reading skills can help reading in English. Reading literacy can enable the exchange of information and ideas, and support the development of relationships that would otherwise be out of reach. How can I help with reading while my child is at home? Your child's IEP will provide you with an indication of your child's current English reading skills and the kinds of skills that the teacher is working on. You are not expected to use the procedures your child's teacher is using at school. Instead, the reading support you provide at home can focus on the joy and advantages of reading. One of the most important things you can do is to make sure.
Oh no.
It's just a little bit of internet buffering.
Of course it is.
What does buffering start with? It starts with the letter B. Buffering. Reading is everywhere. So it may just take a second to get going again. But, oops. And then push play.
I did.
Oh, keeps just going back. Just amazing.
Well, while we're waiting for that to load, Mallory mentioned in the chat again, she mentioned music, and I think music is such a fun and key way to get kids learning too. If, they want to get up, they want to dance. We talked about that earlier. So I love that, and having them maybe even count and listen to the notes and count them as they hear the song. I thought that was a really clever idea.
It is. So that is emphasizing how important it is to have access to a variety of books and a rich print environment for developing those pre-reading skills. Just read to your child. This video suggests activities like pointing out letters and words and sounds while reading, discussing the relationships between those letters and the names,
and
talking
advantages
about words
of
and
reading.
pictures.
One
was
of the
able to
most
push it
important
forward. Is
things
that
you can
good?
do is to
Yes.
make sure
Okay. Sorry about that.
that there is a wide variety of engaging and age-appropriate reading materials available for your child to read. Visit your public library, online if necessary, for an affordable way to always have new and exciting books available in your home. Look for ideas on how to modify books if your child has a visual impairment or other disability that makes it difficult to access regular print. For example, gluing colored popsicle sticks to the pages of the book may make the pages easier to turn. In your daily activities, use some of the words that are in the books that interest your child. Also, read to your child as often as possible. While you are reading, stop to talk about the things you are reading. Ask yourself questions and think aloud about the meaning of the text. In this way, you provide a model of ways to process and make meaning of text. Conversations about what is being read will support your child's understanding and help your child consider alternative ways to think about text. Other ways to support your child's reading skills include choosing games that involve reading and following directions, or educational apps and websites that involve reading. Allow your child to get up close and personal to reading items around your home. Point out and talk about signs, symbols, and words you see at the grocery store or out in the community. It takes intentional planning to provide meaningful early learning experiences on which to build reading skills. As you find yourself reading throughout the day, talk to your child about the things you are reading. Print is everywhere and reading happens all day. For example, you are reading when you choose a TV show to watch, follow a recipe, shop online, read and respond to text messages, and look at signs along the road or in a store window. Help your child understand that learning to read will make it possible for them to do all of these things. What support can I ask for from my child's school? Numerous resources are available with ideas for supporting children's beginning English reading skills. You can find resources online by searching for beginning reading. These resources have many ideas that can be used with your child. Make sure that the reading materials have topics that are appropriate for your child's grade level. You might want to start by talking with your child's teacher or instructional team about possible reading activities that you can do at home. You also might ask for recommendations for reading materials that you can use with your child.
I do love how these videos do reinforce that communication and connection with the parents and the teachers, that you're constantly working on the same skills and reinforcing them at home is so important. And again, additionally, in this video, it recommended some practical activities that align with the Access Point standards, such as reading those recipes, the weekly shopping list, and daily schedules. And it's also a good idea to ask your child's teacher again about those standards, so that then you're kind of knowing, understanding what they are focusing in on. And this way you can use those appropriate academic vocabulary words to support your child's learning. And for example, when you're reading a daily schedule with you can use it as an opportunity to teach them about the concept of sequencing. So now you're going back to math in a sense, which is the order in which events happen. And to do this, you can highlight and discuss specific words that signal the sequence of events. So talking about a schedule that you might have posted in your house for your child to follow along with, that might have pictures for the day's events, would be really helpful. These words include, again, that first, then, after, eventually, even high words like eventually, which are so many syllables and letters in there, but they are listening to that more and more, and it becomes part of their vocabulary as well. And I love the example, even making reading itself, using the books themselves fun by the popsicle sticks. How cool is that? Even if you are a child that can turn pages easily, just having something fun added to the book itself makes it enjoyable to read, especially if they're reading it over and over and over and over again. By pointing out words and explaining their meanings, you help your child understand how now events are connected in a sequence. You can also add these signal words to the schedule itself. For example, you might say, first we have breakfast, then we go to school. After that, we have lunch. Eventually, we come home. And this way, your child can see and hear those words in context. They're reinforcing their understanding of their sequencing as well.
I love that you bring that up, Jenna, because it is kind of building on those things because, I know lots of parents, even myself, we just have up there, right? Breakfast, what we're going to do next, but turning those into a phrase, then from there, making them a sentence. And then again, like they said, reaching out to the teachers. What are those terms that we can bring into the home to help the student? We call it generalizing, right? So we use first at school, we use it at home. First we do this, then we do this. Eventually, those higher order words, they become super important because again, come 10th grade, what was that standard, right?
Yeah,
Compare and
multiple
contrast.
text.
Yeah,
Yes,
multiple
text
tasks,
features.
cause and effect. It
Mhm.
is not a simple assessment. We do have high expectations for all students, and we want to try to provide that and all the support we can get. We would love it.
Yeah, and it is that repetition we can't emphasize enough, that our students do need multiple opportunities to read words over and over again. And so we encourage you to be unstoppable in that area. Sometimes it gets discouraging, especially if you're not getting responses from your child, but we have to keep doing it and keep repeating and
Might
encouraging
make a
our
shirt,
children
write it
as
on a
well.
shirt.
Right, and sure, many times.
Unstoppable learning.
Unstoppable learning, unstoppable learning, unstoppable learning. Absolutely. Everything can be made into a shirt. So even though we saw this video with some great ideas, what are some ideas that you probably are already using that you would share with some of the other parents that are joining us in this session, and parents that may listen to this session in the future? So go ahead and put some things in the chat that might be helpful to them as well, to reinforce
Might
reading
not have
and to
realized you were already
naturally.
doing it, right? And you thought,
Mhm.
oh, I'm doing this at home. Try this.
So we'll give you just a minute to go ahead and do that.
Well, I'm sure you knew I was already going to say this, but you guessed it. Our friend Mallory was already ahead of you before you even posted or went to
She's
the
going to be
slide and said,
Mother
put your
of the
ideas
Year.
in. Yeah, she just knew. And she had some really incredible ideas. And one thing that stood out to me was she said to be familiar with your child's IEP goals and
Oh,
help find
yes.
texts that interest them. And I love that. I think that is so key.
Mhm.
So kudos to you, Mallory, for you know,
Being
becoming
unstoppable.
familiar. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. For
Every
yes.
place we can embed it, right? Might as
I
well
love
get the
that.
most bang for our buck.
But she
Yes.
mentioned in terms of reading practice at home, she said at home, have your children help read directions when you're building something, even a toy
Yes.
or
Yeah.
Legos, whatever it may be, right? And help
Mhm.
practicing sequencing even with the directions. I love that.
Mhm.
And with informational text as well.
Yes. Yeah. Make it
I
a
think that, like you said, it is everywhere.
Oh.
Literature and reading is everywhere, and you don't realize it until you're in that moment.
Yes.
Yes, until you don't
give
have
up.
it any longer.
Yes.
Till all of a sudden your library's missing.
Oh, yes. Got blown away. So I think this is our last fun fact.
I
I
think it might be. Fun fact or
although
fun idea?
fun fact? Oh, yes.
Hmm.
Fun fact. Unstoppable fun idea. It's snack time. Everybody's favorite time. Everyone has to name a food that starts with the next letter of the alphabet. So you might start with the letter A, and someone will say apple. So the next person has to say something that starts with a B, and so
Brand.
forth. I actually ran a marathon couple of, I don't know, this past year or so. And during, maybe it was 2 years ago, but during the marathon, every mile, and guess what? How many miles are in a marathon? This is a math question. Anybody know? 26.
26.2.
Yeah. How many letters in the alphabet?
26.
26. So it was perfect for our coach who was running with us to say, every mile we're going to name a letter. And then when we name a food that starts with the letter A, the next mile, it will be a food that starts with the letter B. To bump up the rigor, though, we had to remember the food that was at the mile 1, and then we had to remember the food at mile 2, all the way down to 26. So imagine you're running a marathon, and at the end, 26 miles, you have to remember those 26 foods that we
A to Z.
that we talked
What was
about
the
for that
Z
part.
is my question.
Yes, I don't know. I gave up.
Mallory and I are in agreement. We both agreed that we'd probably trip and fall. So
That's right. Just because you didn't know what to do for an X, what kind of food?
Right. Because what do we always say? X-ray.
Yes, but there we were covering math and reading all in one marathon. Amazing. And exercise.
And you made it. So
And your
clearly
heart
you
rate.
survived.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, I thought we were running
We're
short on
doing
time, but
just
we're a little good.
yeah, a little bit ahead of time, but this is our unstoppable resources we were talking about. So you heard us talk about the Ties Center. And so each of these years link to the different websites
And
that
Jenna,
we
I'm
have
going to highlight real
included
quick,
here.
just so
Okay.
since we have
Yeah.
a little bit of time, if participants, when they do get, our parents and caregivers get the link itself, but if you click here in this top right button, you'll see the things that flicker, the little fingers, then you'll know it's a live link.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll let you take back over for ties.
Absolutely, yes. So, so the Tie Center, again, very family friendly, lots of great ideas and resources for parents and teachers as well. As you can see here, the letters stand for time, instructional, engagement, and support. A great resource for you to visit again and again. They stay up to date with information for parents and teachers. The next link is Access Project, sorry. The Access Project is a state, Florida Department of Education state project that provides information all about access points for teachers as well as for parents. And then there's the FIN, FIN gear, and that stands for the Florida Inclusion Network. It again is a project that's provided by the Department of Education in Florida, supporting families, supporting teachers, and supporting administrators with how to include your child in the general education curriculum.
Multiple
As well
languages,
as,
lots of videos over the
Mhm,
years.
mhm.
Up to
And
date.
understanding the disabilities that different children might have. and how to support that. And then we have FAA, which is the fourth gear, and that's the Florida Alternate Assessment. And that's where the students are taking that same state assessment that all students take. The general education assessment is called the FAST, but this is FAA, and it's an alternate assessment, but it's still assessing those same content areas at grade level expectations for our students, and to provide that understanding with how they're doing within a year.
And there's
similar
that
to
family
what-
portal right here for the parents. Great resources. They
yes.
can find all their students' test scores
Mhm.
and again, additional resources as well, Florida resources. And then, of course, our favorite gear, save the best for
Yes.
last, right?
Yes,
What's this one,
OCPS,
Lauren?
Orange County Public Schools parents. It's not just parents at Orange County Public Schools, but it is the students first. But the parents are that great resource, of course, to support our students. And as you see on this slide right now, it is a place where you probably already went to look up these parent academies that are being so wonderfully provided to our parents and throughout the year. So we hope that you'll go back and look at those as well. And again, as we said, this link it will be posted in the chat. I don't know if we already did it or not, Nicole.
I have not yet because I don't have the
Okay.
chat open, but I will drop it in there.
And we'll put that in there. And then,
I'll stop sharing though.
but we do want to thank you for stopping by for even for just a minute, because I know you are unstoppable, to listen to our suggestions and possibly apply these to your circumstances. Or if not, they might be springboards for you to start thinking about more ideas for your child to experience the instruction that is taught in the classroom and then reinforcing it at home and being that unstoppable parent or caregiver that you are. I'm going to turn it back over to you, Lauren.
Absolutely. And honestly, I just want to reiterate what you just said. I think not only to you, Nicole and Virginia, for taking time out of your busy lives to do this for our families. It was incredible. I learned as a new mom myself, some fun things I can try, even start introducing to my 2-year-old. So thank you.
Absolutely.
But on behalf of the family and community engagement team, as well as all of OCPS, thank you, families, first and foremost,
Yes.
for attending and learning rich ways to enhance your kids' learning and just unstoppable learning. I learned how to transform those everyday moments, right, and to practical, fun ways that we can add to our kids in reading and math and beyond, right? So I truly appreciate you both taking time out, like I said, out of your busy schedules. And for those that were able to join us, thank you. There were some links that were shared throughout the entirety of this presentation. And I know, Nicole, thank you. You just dropped that in the chat as well. So this information and this presentation will be available on the YouTube channel that OCPS has in about 2 weeks. We say that it may be before then, obviously, but we like to say about 2 weeks. So you can access this information and all these great resources there as well. And if, in the meantime, if anybody has any questions, you're always welcome to reach out to us at the Family and Community Engagement team, as well as Nicole and Virginia's team. We're here to help you. Thank you, Nicole. Dropped her email out in the chat. Thank you so much. And again, thanks for taking time out of your busy lives to join us tonight. Thank you
It was
guys
a joy and a pleasure. Thank you so much
Yes.
for letting us do this, Lauren.
Yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
thank you. Well,
I enjoyed it.
you know
Be
where to find-
unstoppable.
Unstoppable. Can't stop, won't stop.
And maybe make a shirt that says it too, right?
Yes, that's right. Good night.